Please allow me to make my disclaimer first. Now, I'm not holding anybody personally responsible. However, I do reserve the right to be wary and suspicious. So the Islamic slave trade. Now, I've heard whispers about this for many years, but never really looked into it too tough, because obviously the transatlantic slave trade has been the bigger talk, because it's obviously more recent. And well, when I say obviously more recent, let me back up on that. It appears more recent. The effects of it is more recent and more talked about. So it's the more famous slave trade. So hence the focus has been on that more so than the Islamic slave trade. So now, I've learned a few stuff, looked into more stuff, and getting enlightened as time goes on. I'm enjoying my journey of learning new stuff. A few things has made a bit more sense. Like, for example, if you take the East African blacks, I'll talk about the Cushites, like the Somalians. They draw more towards the Arabs than type of black person like myself. And if those who are a bit confused when I say type, if you're a typical white person who says, oh, one black face is all black face, well, yes and sort of no. I like within each race, you got variations within each race. If you were to take someone from the Mediterranean, like Greece, a Greek white man looks different to an Irish white man with red hair and freckles and pale skin. So you take a black man from West Africa, he looks different to a black man from East Africa and South Africa. So, but this is not what this video is about. If you're wondering what that noise was, there's a forklift that just went by. So we're not talking about racial subgroups, okay? That's not what it is. So let's get back to the topic at hand. And also, information I've learned lines up with some of the experience that my black friend has had going to places like Dubai, in terms of some of the negative experience that they have experienced. That doesn't mean all they experience in places like Dubai or the Middle East is all bad, but it does explain some of the bad experiences they did experience. And before I get to my central point, now I want to have a little laugh about this irony. For those of you who are not familiar with the series called Roots, back in the 70s, there was a series called Roots. It was about a black American or Afro-American, whichever you want to call him, traced his roots back to Africa, and the first guy that was featured in his show was Kunta Kinte. They did a remake, and in the remake, they portrayed him as a Muslim. Now, here lies the irony, because Kunta Kinte was taken from Africa in the transatlantic slave trade, and he ended up in America as a slave. He's then going on his knees, facing Mecca, praying to Allah, not realizing that the culture of that prayer is the thing that enslaved his people to begin with. So you really, one slave, a slave has been taken to another place and is a slave in another land. So from slave to slave, but he didn't know that he was a slave to begin with. He thought he was free, but he was a slave to begin with. Even though he was free to roam around in Africa, but his religion came via slavery, and a brutal slavery at that. Very, very brutal slavery at that. So, there lies the irony, and sadly, a lot of black Muslims don't know that. It's not their fault. This doesn't mean they're bad. They just don't know. I didn't. I'm not Muslim, but I didn't really know that myself. I didn't know the extent. I didn't know that the Islamic slave trade went on for 14 centuries, where the transatlantic slave trade went on for just under 400 years. And the blacks in the transatlantic slave trade ended up having more rights than the blacks in the Islamic slave trade. And think about it. Think about the rights that the blacks had in the transatlantic slave trade. Things hasn't been good. You couldn't really say that things has been great. So if they had more rights in a transatlantic slave trade, they had more rights, and life wasn't good. I mean, just look at the 60s, right? Well, what does it say about the Islamic slave trade? So the long and short of it is, listen, like I said, I don't hold anyone personally responsible. If you're a Muslim, be you from the Middle East, Africa, or wherever you're from, you're more than welcome to be my friend. My invitation of friendship is welcome to you. Now that forklift is going to pass again, so excuse the noise. However, in terms of on a religious sense, I'd have nothing to do with you. You could say salam alaikum to me all you like, but at the back of my head, I know the history behind that, and I am aware that the names that were given to black people in terms of there was an Arab name given to a black person, a black man and a black woman, and apparently I think Muhammad he sold 2 slaves for 1 Arab slave, because two slaves was equivalent. Well, one Arab slave was worth more than 1 black slave, so 2 black slaves was equivalent of 1 Arab slave. And so in the Islamic world, trading black slaves was no different to trading animals, and that's how black people were and are viewed in many Middle Eastern countries. Are viewed. So the long and short of it is, if you're in West London and you're giving up leaflets, pamphlets to convert people to Islam, and you see me, tread to me very, very carefully, because like I said, you're welcome to be my friend, but I have the right to be wary now, knowing what I know about your culture now. I mean, okay. Let me give you the benefit of the doubt, and let's say that most of you don't know the brutality that was taking place towards the black slaves, and but yet many of you look down your noses with superiority at other religions. Not that I'm religious. I class myself as having a relationship with the Creator, but I'm not religious. But you look down your noses at other people. You're quick to call them devils. But the things that your Islamic brothers and sisters of the past did, and some of them what they do now, very devilish in my eyes. Castrating someone, cutting someone's dick off, and that is that angelic to you, or is that devilish? They were fucking brutal. So yeah, in a lot of ways, you guys made the white man look like a pussy. I'm not letting. This is not giving the white racist a pass. Not by a long shot. Not by a long way. But still, some of the things that you guys got up to. When I say you, I mean your forefathers. I'm not you. I'm not, like I said, I'm not holding you responsible. But your religion come with some nasty shit that you don't talk about. Some fucking bad shit. So if you see this face and you want to come to me and call me brother, hey brother, come have a look at this and convert to Islam, better think again, because what I know about your background, I'm not in a hurry to break bread with you, mate. You know, I'm not in a hurry to come and no mosque with you, because at the back of my mind, I don't know what you're thinking. You know, I don't. You know, I don't. And plus, another thing I've got to just add before I leave. Amongst black people, the suspicion and the reputation that Middle Eastern people, and especially Asian people, when I say Asian, here in the UK, Asian refers to Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. And in America, Asian means like the Far East, Japan, and here, Japan, Asian means like India, around that. The reputation that those people have is that they're very racist and bigoted towards black people. Of course, not all, because in my lifetime, I've had some wonderful experiences with people of that type. I've had some wonderful experience with Middle Eastern people, and I've had a really good experience with some Indian people, especially some Indian ladies. Woo! Oh my God! So many Indian ladies from India has been very good to me, has been very nice to me. My God, some of the best memories one of the best memories I've had was with the Indian lady from Hounslow. Whoa, my God, gee whiz, way. Gee, I still smile about her now. My God, my God. So it's not all bad. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, so there we are. So there, I just wanted to share that with you. Okay? So, like I said, I've got nothing against you personally, but there we are. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.